Yes.
Will you turn to the last page? The first bullet point in the second sentence says, and I quote, "Job is locally based with no travel required," end quote. Is that true?
Oh, the job I was working on at that time was working out on the Greenville, so that was correct, yeah.
So the engineering design supervisor tasks that you referenced in the sentence directly before that were tasks that you performed and completed on behalf of clients in the state of South Carolina, correct?
As design supervisor over drafters and designers, yes. That's what my title is, design supervisor. I had drafters and designers.
Drafters and designers, does that language actually appear in the bullet point?
Engineering design supervisor, that was my title before. I was piping design supervisor in engineering.
I know that, but when you answered my question, you inserted some additional language that didn't appear in the bullet point. I was just clarifying that drafters and, what was the other?
Designers.
And designers, that language doesn't actually appear in that bullet point, does it?
That's just what I was called at Floor.
The words drafters or designers does not appear in the first bullet point on FE 100511, does it?
No.
The tasks that you were performing at Floor Daniel at that time were being performed in South Carolina, correct?
The jobs we were doing, the tasks with the designers in South Carolina, yes.
And that's what you meant when you said that the job is locally based with no travel required, right?
That's right.
Were you issued an order to cease and desist by the Board of Registration for Professional Engineers and Surveyors on June 1st of 2012?
Yes, I was.
Why?
Because it was in the paper, I think that it had listed me down as an engineer, and I did call the paper and told them what my job title was.
Did that order provide, and I quote, that you should, and I quote, cease and desist from using or allowing to be used any reference to yourself as an engineer, or any wording, title, sign, card, or other device to indicate that you are an engineer or are authorized to provide engineering services, end quote?
I received the same letter, yes.
That's what the order said, right?
Yes.
Exhibit number 3 marks for identification. Exhibit 3 is a document that is base numbered FE 100321. And the first question I want to ask you is, the very top part where it says, Eddie Moore, May 8, 2008, and then over it says, to Eddie Moore, emoore@trivergent.net. Does that reflect that you were basically just forwarding the email from your Floor account to your home account?
Yeah.
Below that caption, does this exhibit reflect an email from Jenna Trammell to you dated May 8, 2008?
Yes.
The first question I have for you about this document relates to the last sentence of the first real paragraph of Ms. Trammell's email, and it says, and I quote, "Then I will revise the article and forward it on to Rick Fremantle," end quote. Do you see that?
Yes.
And the article she's referring to is the article that we looked at earlier, which is the introductory article that she wrote for you.
Right.
On that article, at the very top, Ms. Trammell uses the name Penny Kelly. Is that right?
Yes.
Penny Kelly relates to or refers to Ms. Trammell, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Moore, is this an email from Jenna Trammell to you dated May 19th of 2008?
Yes, it is.
And this is before the primaries in June of 2008, right?
Right.
Why is Ms. Trammell in the first sentence of her email commenting on your advertising? Okay, first sentence of this email from Jenna Trammell to you, May 19th, 2008 says, and I quote, "Eddie, I love this ad, exclamation point," end quote. I thought Ms. Trammell was a reporter, isn't she?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Why was she sending you an email if she's just a reporter commenting on your ad? Did you have more of a relationship with Ms. Trammell than just one between person running and a reporter?
No.
Down below, Ms. Trammell writes, and I quote, "One good, thorough audit will probably land JP in jail for malfeasance," end quote. Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
First of all, has the county ever conducted an audit?
We had Bob Daniels did the audit for the county.
So Bob Daniels conducted an audit.
Well, I guess whatever he did. He was part of the investigative team with Nexus Pruitt.
Well, what did he do?
You would have to reframe the question in Nexus Pruitt because they were in charge of the investigation.
You were on county council at that period of time, were you not?
Yes.
Was the scope of work that Mr. Daniels completed disclosed to you as an audit?
He gave a report.
He gave a report?
The Daniels report.
Was it a certified audit report?
No, it's just his report. It was completed for next improvement.
Well, the question I really have for you is, in that sentence, first of all, was it your understanding that the JP cited there was Joey Preston?
I don't understand what you're saying.
We were just talking about the sentence that said, and I quote, "One good, thorough audit will probably land JP in jail for malfeasance," end quote. Right? We were talking about that sentence, remember?
Okay.
Question I have is, the JP, that's Joey Preston, right?
You would have to ask Ms. Trammell because this is her opinion, not mine.
Well, let's go back to the sentence, 2 sentences before, where it says, and I quote, "Preston wasn't hired to be an economic developer," end quote. Do you see that? Then the next sentence says, and I quote, "He's simply lying that all these charges are legitimate or necessary." And the next sentence, which is the next one we're talking about, says, and I quote, "One good, thorough audit will probably land JP in jail for malfeasance," end quote. Was it your understanding that the JP in that sentence related to Joey Preston?
You'd have to ask Ms. Trammell. I would not want to assume what she meant.
Can you provide me any other possible reasonable interpretation of that?
You would have to ask Ms. Trammell.
Wasn't that in fact the whole plan from your side, that you would push for an audit and hope that it would ensnare Mr. Preston and have him sent to jail for malfeasance?
No.
That wasn't the plan?
No.
That wasn't the plan from the inception?
No.
That wasn't the plan even as of May 19th of 2008?
No.
Before you even won the primary?
We wanted to find out what our money was being spent on, where it came, whatever happened would happen. But we want to know where our money had been spent because he was hiding where the money was being spent.
Your sworn testimony was that that was not the plan all along from May 19th of 2008 all the way up through December of 2008. That's your sworn testimony, right?
To have an audit? Right.
To have an audit in order to ensnare Joey Preston in hopes to get rid of him or send him to jail.
It was never a snare, just to get the truth, where the money was.
Did you sign off on Bob Daniels' time cards?
Yes.
Did you read what you were signing off for?
Yes.
Did you understand what the scope of work Mr. Daniels was providing?
Yes.
The scope of that work was not an audit, right?
No.
Do you recall after winning that primary, having stated, while at the Anderson County Civic Center, and I quote, "The party is over," end quote?
Probably.
Whose party's over?
The general county in general had been boozing it up with county dollars.
In fact, you ran on a campaign platform that the county administrator had been conducting a party, did you not?
Basically, the whole county was doing a party, yes.
And you ran a series of ads on the Rick Driver show about Ken and Barbie. Do you remember those?
Uh-huh.
Who was the voice of Barbie, by the way?
That was my daughter.
So you ran a series of ads about Ken and Barbie, and the whole crux of those ads was about how Joey Preston was running a party, right?
No.
Oh, they weren't?
They're fictitious names of employees that work for Anderson County.
And their dialogue was about Joey Preston, wasn't it?
No.
Do we need to go through each and every one of those ads?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that your sworn testimony is that those campaign ads weren't about how Joey Preston was running the county as a party and having use of credit cards and spending money improperly.
You asked me, you're talking about one ad, and that was the radio ad on Rick Driver's show. That's the one I'm addressing.
And those Ken and Barbie ads didn't have content like that at all?
Fictitious Anderson County employees. You can read into it whatever you'd like.
Is exhibit number 5 an email from Jenna Trammell to you dated June 11th of 2008?
Yes.
Does the first sentence of Jenna Trammell's email state, and I quote, "Today is truly one of the happiest days of my life," end quote?
Yes.
And the next sentence says, and I quote, "Congratulations on your stunning victory at the polls," end quote?
Yes.
Down below the sentence that begins with, after you won the primary, did you continue to run the Ken and Barbie ads?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't recall running them unless maybe in the fall. I don't think I had any opposition as well as I remember. I don't remember running them anymore because I paid the bill and it just ran right before the primary. I don't remember running them anymore.
Is this an email from your Trivergent account to your Florida Daniel account?
Yes, it is.
It's dated June 15th of 2008,
Yeah,
and that was after the primary, correct?
right.
Does it attach another Ken and Barbie ad?
This was written for Bob Waltrip, not me.
You wrote this though?
Yes.
On page 2, the actual ad refers to Mr. Preston, does it not?
Yes.
So the hypothetical county administrator that you were referring to before was really Mr. Preston, wasn't it?
In this ad, it is, but not necessarily in the other ad.
Do you want to stick with that distinction?
Doesn't say anything about Mr. Preston in the other ad. This one does. This one says specifically Mr. Preston.
In the other ads, were you referring to the county administrator? You were really referring to Mr. Preston though, right?
The ad plainly states it was fictitious, 2 characters that worked for the county, the Barbie ads. Never mentioned Mr. Preston.
Was your relationship with Ms. Trammell only one as a reporter and a county council member elect?
I don't understand what you're saying.
You had some sort of interaction with Ms. Trammell, correct?
Communicated with emails, yes.
Mr. Moore, I believe we've left off Exhibit 7. I'd like to show you Exhibit 8 to your deposition. Sir, this is an email from General Trammell to you dated June 16th of 2008.
Yes, it is.
And Jenna Trammell writes to you in the second paragraph, and I quote, "Congratulations again on winning your council seat. I am overjoyed that the voters sent Greer, McAbee, and Thompson packing. Maybe Preston will be next, exclamation point, end quotation mark." Do you see that?
Yes.
First question I have for you, during this time period, and when I say this time period, I'm referring to the June of 2008 time period. Had you had any conversations with Jenna Trammell about sending Mr. Preston packing?
I don't recall any kind of conversations like that.
Well, did you have any communications with her wherein you exchanged a dialogue about sending Mr. Preston packing in her words?
I don't recall any dialogue like that.
But do you deny that you would have done that? I mean, you would have known whether that was your sentiment at the time, would you not?
No, not really, no.
You would know that that was how you were feeling at the time?
I don't think that was ever really a part of my feelings. I just wanted an open, honest, and accountable government. I wanted to do things.
You referenced meetings that you were having. What meetings were you having?
We had meetings with all the newly elected council members to discuss the county and what ideas we had about finances, how to make the county transparent, things like that.
Who else was there?
There are a lot of people that was coming and going. We invited just normal citizens in the community, businessmen, accountants, lawyers. Jim Carpenter was there, Mr. Sloan was there.
Was Mr. Gibson there?
Who?
Mr. Gibson.
I think Mr. Gibson came in on a meeting, or I can't remember if he came in on 1 or 2, but I do know he did come to a meeting. We had different people coming in.
What other lawyers were there?
Bob Alder.
What other lawyers were there?
Right now I don't remember any more lawyers. I mean, there are a lot of people coming and going. I know I can't remember everybody.
When you referenced the 3 incoming council members, were you referring to Tom Allen, yourself, and Tommy Dunn?
That's correct.
Did Cindy Wilson ever attend these meetings?
Yes. I don't think she came to all of them, but she came to some of them, yes.
During this time period, the summer of 2008 time period is what I'm referring to, was Bob Waldrop a sitting member of Anderson County Council?
I believe so.
During that same time period, was Cindy Wilson a sitting member of Anderson County Council?
Yes.
And during that same time period, you and Mr. Allen and Mr. Dunn were all council members elect.
When it started off, we had not been elected yet because it wasn't November. We were just a normal common citizen just like you. We were not elected yet until November. Most of our meetings happened during the summer before the election in November.
Let's talk about that for a second, because you won your primary, correct?
Right.
But you had no opposition in November, did you?
No.
So you were a council member elect at this period of time, right?
No, not by law. Law is in November is general election, then I'm a council member elect. I was only a Republican nominee.
At this point in time, you knew you were going to be an Anderson County Council member when it came January of 2009, did you not?
Barring a write-in candidate or something, yes.
Sure. Was Tom Allen opposed in November?
I don't recall. I do not think he had opposition.
How about Tommy Dunn?
I don't think he had. Wait a minute. Tommy Dunn did have competition.
Where were these meetings held?
Bob Waltrip's office.
On what day were they scheduled?
There were different days. A lot of them were on Sunday afternoons after church. They were just different times.
Were any meetings held in a location other than Mr. Waldrop's office?
I don't recall us having any other meetings besides at Bob's office. It was convenient for everybody.
Did a meeting ever occur between the group that we were talking about earlier at Cindy Wilson's house?
Cindy Wilson did have a meeting at her house. I don't remember who all came. I know I was there and Cindy was there and maybe a couple of other people. I don't remember everybody that was there. I don't remember if Tom Allen was there or not, but it's possible that Bob Waldrop was there. It's possible. Either Tommy Dunn was there or either Tommy Allen, but I can't remember if everybody was there. But there was a meeting there, I remember now.
Where else did you have meetings?
I don't remember. There was so much going on. Most of the meetings were at Bob Waldrop's. I just don't remember.
On average, how long did the meetings last?
I would say an hour or so, 2 hours.
How frequently did you hold the meetings?
I think we probably had maybe 2 or 3 a month according to everybody's schedule, trying to get everybody when they could come.
When did you start having the meetings?
Probably right after the June primary.
And when did you stop having those meetings?
I think the last meeting we had was in December. I don't remember if we had one before we were sworn in. I can't remember if we had one in January or not. I don't remember. If we did, it was right before we were sworn in January. We could have had one, but I can't remember. I would have to ask some of the other council members, but I know we had maybe 1 or 2 meetings in December.
I'm going to call, for shorthand purposes, so Mr. Devlin won't have a problem with the form of my questions, the period of time from right after the primary in June of 2008 to December 31st of 2008, the material time period. During the material time period, did any of the meetings involve the crafting of resolutions which would be adopted during the first meeting of the new council members in January of 2009?
Yes.
Who drafted those resolutions?
We probably all had input, but I think, as well as I remember, Bob Waldrop did most of the work on the legal writing on it.
Did the group during the material time period formulate a proposed agenda for that first meeting in January of 2009?
We pretty much had it worked out what we wanted to do at the first meeting, yes.
In fact, there was a written agenda, was there not?
A rough draft, yes.
Who prepared that?
All of us, we all had input, and I think Bob probably polished it.
Exhibit number 10 marks for identification. Is this an email from Jenna Trammell?
Yes, it is.
Is it addressed to Rick Fremantle?
Yes, it is.
Is the address myscarlett@charter.net the address for Charles Crowe?
I don't know because I have never myself emailed. I don't know that as far as Charles.
And that last email address is you, is it not?
Yes.
As of July 3rd of 2008, was Jenna Trammell continuing to send you draft articles that she intended to submit to the Times Examiner?
She sent me articles and sent me emails, continued to send me emails.
Did you have any understanding why she's continuing to send these to you at this point?
I guess because we won.
Was it your understanding when you received this email that the attached article was something that Jenna Trammell intended to publish in the Times Examiner?
She was the newspaper reporter for them, so I guess so. It says that.
The last sentence in the first paragraph on the page with the Bates number FE100197 states, and I quote, "The conclusion we can all draw is that the public is fed up with Preston's arrogance and abuse of power, and that it's time for him to go," end quote. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then the last sentence of 2 paragraphs down starts, and I quote, "Lack of trust and policy violations are 2 of the main reasons why it's time for Preston to go," end quote. Do you see that?
I see that.
If you go down another 2 paragraphs, the last sentence of that paragraph says, quote, "Time for you to straighten this out and maintain proper professional boundaries, and another good reason why it's time for Preston to go," end quote. Do you see that?
Yes.
Let's go down another 2 paragraphs. And do you see on the next page the last sentence of that paragraph that says, and I quote, "Citizens in free countries don't care much for dictators. Sue Thompson is out, and Preston should be the next to go," end quote. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then the final sentence of the entire piece on page FE100198 states, and I quote, It only makes sense that Preston be asked to follow him out the door, end quote. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Out of fairness to me, during this time period, you were talking about how to run Joey Preston off, were you not?
We're talking about how to straighten the county out and make it a transparent county.
Is it your sworn testimony that you weren't having communications how to run Preston off?
We want to straighten the county out and make him conform to transparency. And hopefully he would have went along with our new form of government, have an open, honest, and accountable government.
I understand you like to talk about the transparency, but my question is actually a lot simpler than that. During this period of time, which is July of 2008, is it your sworn testimony here today that you were not having conversations with other third parties about how to run Joey Preston off or how to replace him as the county administrator?
I answered it. If we conformed to what we wanted, he would probably still be administrator.
Did you have conversations wherein you discussed replacing Joey Preston as the county administrator during the July of 2008 timeframe? That is a yes or no question.
Yes, if he did not conform to opening all the books up so it would be a transparent government.
So you did have conversations about replacing Joey Preston if he didn't conform to what the new county council was going to instruct him to do?
Yes.
Where did those conversations take place?
I guess we talked about it a lot at Bob Waltrip's office.
Was Cindy Wilson at those meetings?
She was probably at some of them, yes.
Was Rusty Burns at any of those meetings?
Rusty came to some meetings, but I don't believe he was at some of the meetings we were talking about on some of the details on how we want to set up the government. Rusty was at some of the meetings, yes.
Is it correct that Bob Waltrip was there?
Bob Waltrip was there, yes.
Was Tom Allen and Tommy Dunn present?
I can't remember. It was very seldom that everybody was there. Sometimes Tommy would be there, sometimes Tom Allen would be there, sometimes Cindy would be there, and occasionally all of us would be there. So I can't say exactly which meetings everybody was there at all times. A lot of times everybody couldn't be there. They'd have to have something going on.
And there were, in fact, discussions about providing or giving instructions to Mr. Preston that he wouldn't be able to abide by, were there not?
I don't understand that question.
Okay. Did the group that was meeting discuss during the Did the group that was meeting during the material time period ever discuss the concept of giving directions to Mr. Preston that they knew he would not abide by?